All right. Hello, gentlemen. Today, I want to talk about something really exciting. How to quit your job gracefully. As my last video said that I'm quitting my job the next day, and I've got so much to talk about, at least to share my experience about how I quit my job, and also how to quit your job gracefully, and what I've learned from this experience. And I really hope you guys can take something good out of it and really implement that if you are going to quit your job, how to do it correctly. So I do have to give some context about me quitting my job, because this corporate job, it was always going to be short term. I was originally going to quit around in June because there was another bonus in May. And I always felt like, fuck, how do I tell people, how do I tell my buddy who got me the job? I remember my buddy got me this job, and I feel bad if I didn't even finish 1 year, because I started last April. I was gonna wait until May, getting my bonus of this year, and then quit in June. So I was waiting. But here's what's really interesting what happened. My buddy wanted to quit before me. So in January, some things happened. He was a scapegoat. He got yelled at. He didn't like it. He got pretty emotional. He said, you know, I'm gonna quit my fucking job. Fuck this shit. And I was like, oh, really? You're gonna quit? That gave me permission to tell him that, okay, I'll quit with you. So what was funny was that I had in mind that I'm quitting. Like, it already materialized in my mind. I told my family that I'm quitting my job. They were actually ecstatic. They're like, oh, great, you're quitting your job. Come back and help out the school. We are expanding aggressively. We're trying to open up a second school. We could totally use the help. So I'm good to go. And right around February, there's a Chinese New Year holiday, which just happened. And the day before Chinese New Year was bonus day, Chinese New Year bonus day. Normally they give out, maybe 1 month worth of pay as bonus, up to 10 months worth of pay at a bonus. Yeah, right. I worked at a pretty big organization called Foxlink, and we do electronics manufacturing. So before we talked about, because we talked about quitting, and it was such a topic that it's like, okay, how do we quit? Oh, what do we say to the boss? Do we just quit together, or do I quit first? How do we do this? And there were so many scripts, so many ways of how this thing was gonna go between him and I, because it wasn't just me. It was we're kind of a buddy together team. So he was like, man, if I don't get 10 months bonus, I'm gonna quit. I was like, 10 months? Are you 10 months? That's insane. Try to get 10 months. I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a number, but I mean, I guess I'm quitting anyways, but 10 months will be super sweet. If I got 10 months, I probably would stay too. But here's actually what happened on bonus day, the day before Chinese New Year. That motherfucker got 10 months. He got 10 months worth of bonus, and he was like, I can't quit now. And it was so funny because I'm like, I'm still quitting though. Figured out what my bonus was. I got about 6 months of bonus, which is absolutely generous from the boss. But the sad thing is I already made up my mind. I already made up my mind to quit, to move on to the next chapter. So over Chinese New Year, I was able to think about like how I'm gonna quit. What do I say to the boss? Because in my mind, I'm already set. Like, I already started packing the last few days. Like, before Chinese New Year, I was already packing. And then, like, I was thinking about it over the few days, and the night before the first day of work coming back, which is on Monday, I couldn't sleep. I was like, man, how do I tell the boss that I'm quitting gracefully, that also puts me in a favorable position, but also make the boss feel good that he can accept it, right? Because some bosses, they'd be like, no, you can't go. Oh no, we need you. He's trying to keep me around. And I wasn't a shitty employee. I tried to be my best, right? I tried to do my best to fulfill my role. Now, I'm not going to talk about why I quit. Maybe I'll talk about that in a second. But right now, I kind of want to focus on how I quit and what are the exact words I used to have that very difficult conversation in your life. Because with this type of conversation, this is actually the first time in my life that I quit my job or resigned. So I was thinking about how do I do it, and I want to do it short, sweet, and punchy, straight to the point. So I remember walking in Monday morning, I'm thinking about what to say. And my boss doesn't know. Nobody knows I'm quitting. He calls me in and tells me to do X, Y, Z. And I'm just there pretending like, I totally care. I'm gonna complete these tasks. Just still act like I really care, right? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Wrote the stuff down. And then my friend, we'll call him M. M comes in. He's like, are you still quitting? I'm like, yeah. Are you? He's like, no, I'm not. So he had to stay. So if he was able to control his emotion and just don't say he's gonna quit so quick, it wouldn't have affected me. Because he got emotional and he was like, man, fuck this shit, I'm quitting, which gave me permission to quit. Now he lost, well, I lost too, but he lost his battle buddy, his wingman at work, person who could talk shit all day. So you really got to keep the emotions in check, because I do what I say. I don't talk shit. If I say I'm gonna quit, I'm gonna fucking quit. But that's besides the point. So I talked to him. He's like, no, I gotta stay. I can't go. I gotta stay. So I was like, I'm sorry, man, I'm still quitting. He's like, do you want me to go in with you? I'm like, no, I'm a fucking man. I can go in and quit myself. So I knocked, hey boss, walk into his room, close the door to signal it is a little bit serious. And I said, hey boss, I gotta tell you something. So I sat down and said, boss, I have some terrible news to tell you. And I let that sink in a little bit, just to kind of brace. Okay, kind of let him brace for what's about to come. I said, hey boss, I got some terrible news to share. And it pains me to absolutely say this, but I need to help out my family with a family business, and I will no longer be working at this company. That's it. 2 sentences. He was a bit taken back, but there was a few things that I said that was key to really relieving all type of tension. Number one is, I feel bad saying it. Number 2 is, it's family duty. And number 3, straight to the point, I will no longer be with this company. So he was like, whoa, what? So he asked about the family business, and of course it was all real. It was all real. So there was there's certainty in my voice. There wasn't any doubt or as if I am deceiving him. Right? It's not like, oh, I have a new job at a different company and then it poached me. It was more or less like, hey, this is what it is. I walk in and I'm leaving. Like, I came here to say goodbye. And then we started talking about, he started asking me about the family business, of how AI is going to change teaching, but most part it was just surface level talk. He didn't really get too deep into it. But what I did was I kind of changed the position to talk about how I felt. Like, I'm like, oh man, I feel so bad. We're on such a good mission. We're on such a mission. I can see so close to our company going IPO. There's so many projects that I'm on and I'm really following it through. I've only been here for 8 months and I'm finally getting good at my job, right? I say that to say like, hey, I don't really want to leave either. But family duty calls, I gotta respond and I have to help out my family. That was really important to tell him how I feel about that. And number 2 was really directing the focus on him is to be appreciative, right? I said, man, thank you so much I even like stood up and shook his hand, which I've never done. Like, we don't really do that in Taiwan. We don't really do that. I stood up, shook his hand, and I said, thank you so much for including me into everything. Like, what you've done to me, if you really opened up my eyes. Just sadly, I wasn't really able to continue on the mission with you. But I did give him kind of a false hope. I said, hey, listen, I'm gonna go back and help out my family, set up a new school, probably take me about 6 months. Maybe when the time comes, I need about 6 months, maybe in September, I can come on back or something like that. And that was kind of the end of it. And he was like, yeah, okay, totally understand. And then he has the audacity to say, he has the audacity to say, hey, Thursday night, we have a meeting. I would love for you to come and listen and take some meeting notes, take some meeting minutes. And I was like, oh, well, I cannot promise anything, but thank you for the opportunity. So that's really how I finished, how I resigned gracefully. And then the wild part is, he was like, hey, as I was walking out, he was like, hey, when's your last day? I said, today. He's like, what, today? I'm like, yeah, today's my last day. I gotta go back and help ASAP. I didn't even give 2 weeks notice. Okay? I didn't even give 2 weeks notice. And I packed up everything in the morning, and after our lunch break, I was gone. So the HR lady was like, this is a record for anybody who has quit our company. You quit in 4 hours. That's insane. I did all the handoff work, and which leads me to the next thing, right? When you work in a company, look, honestly, in the end, it's people. That's all that is. The people is the most important thing that will happen in your life. Nobody can become successful. Nobody can be bad being a loner, okay? Being a loner absolutely sucks. This company structure is all about people. So after talking to my boss, I sent out an external email to our clients. I sent out internal emails to within our company. And as soon as I sent out that email, people start calling me. What? You're leaving right now? It was a pleasure working with you. And of course, I was appreciative. I said, thank you so much. But life happens and I have a different direction. I have to focus my energy on helping out my family, which most people understood. But here was a huge challenge of handing off that I did not expect, is that I had to hand off all my duties to a fellow employee who was in America because of company structure. We have project managers at the factory in Taiwan, that's where the boss is, and also we have a US team. So I have all these responsibilities. Who am I to hand it off to? Like, this is kind of a fuck you moment. It's like, I need to fuck, somebody's gonna get fucked because I need to hand off all my responsibilities to that one person and finish the note. And I needed to hand off to somebody who was under me. Like, this is how a seniority system works in Asia, where, people who've been there longer, they just definitely have more power. And as I'm leaving, I am not gonna give my responsibilities up. So it befalls on me to give the responsibility down. Now, was that person the right person to do it? Absolutely fucking not. It was not. I felt so bad making that phone call. But listen, am I gonna give my responsibility to the friend who got me the job? Probably not. That's not what I came here to do. I came here to help him. He's my boy. I'm not gonna pass responsibility to people way above him. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. So she got the message, and it was Monday morning my time, Sunday night her time. I feel absolutely bad about the experience because this is just how things are. Like, I didn't really have power. I need to give responsibility. It's her, okay? I gotta give it to her. And she was really taken aback. Actually, taken aback is an understatement. She was pissed. I told her, look, you gotta do the meeting minutes. And she was like, what? I'm not even there in front of the boss. I don't even know anybody there. okay, you got to take on these projects. What? I'm not even part of these projects. I'm not even on any of the emails. She gave me absolute valid reasons. Absolute valid reasons. Like if I was her, I would say the same exact thing and I will feel the same frustration. And yet, I still have to give it to her. That was actually the toughest part about resigning. It wasn't talking to the boss. It wasn't the process. It was actually handing off to that one person, which I really fucked over, in my opinion. But again, it was just duties, right? So as part of me leaving, I have to hand off to someone correctly, or the act of it. So as I'm trying to tell her what to do and I just getting so much pushback and anger, which is completely understandable, I still feel bad about it. And I told, hey, I absolutely understand where you're coming from. Handing off, this is just a procedure. Now, whether or not you will accept it or not, you can discuss with other team members that are above her, that have been there longer than her. And I'm really sorry for doing this to you. I know I fucked you. And this concludes our handoff procedure process. So thank you, good luck, and goodbye. And that's how we ended. I know she's probably still really mad. So after leaving, after finishing that conversation, talking to a lot of people, and really everybody's like, oh, you're leaving? Yeah, finally I came home. And I felt a sense of relief. A relief that, man, I don't have to do a corporate job anymore. And I really want to tell you guys, like, if you're stuck in a job, if you're like, again, if you feel stuck, that is really a perception. It's really what you're focusing on, right? Some people can have a great life in a corporate job where they actually make really good money and they live a really happy, peaceful life. But we all know that's not the case for most people, right? Only a few seldom people really live a good life doing a corporate job. And I think my perspective is, it's in the end, it's about the people, right? If you're lucky enough, you go into a company and there's a great culture and everybody's pushing each other, getting each other's back, like really good employees. It doesn't have to be friends. You don't have to hang out after work, you know, it's up to you. That's really, there's a fine line between that. But if you work with a great company that has a lot of great people, that are a bunch of go-getters that really want to excel themselves, get to the next level, stay in that, because you can learn the system, you can learn, you can see the world, and you can really, really up your levels. But sadly, I really wasn't able to. Like, I got there for about 8 months, about 6 months in, I'm like, I really capped out on my responsibilities of what I can accomplish and the problems I can solve. So I don't want to say corporate jobs are bad, but it just, 6 months was enough for me. That's all I gotta say. Now, of course, I probably could go find another corporate job at 36 years old, but you know how that sounds, right? Starting from zero, like, yes, I was a project manager, but you know what? If I was going to spend my time and energy on anything, it better be working for my family business and also my own business. That just makes a lot more sense than working for somebody else and being somebody's bitch. That's one way of looking at it, which is my way of looking at it. Not everybody at your, like, if you're like 26, fuck yeah, keep going at it. Go eat shit. Go eat shit. Go suffer. Go learn their systems. Go work at a big company. Take everything you can out of it in 2 to 3 years. Jump to a different company. Get way more pay. That's the game. There is working at a corporate job. Remember, you are a cog in a machine. You're there to fill a very specific role. And most people, they come in with really high ambitions, and once they have any red tape and restrictions and hardship, they just want to kind of smooth, ease going, like a lot of people I was working with. But that's not me. I'm trying to go in, I'm trying to solve problems. Every good idea I had, it basically got shut down, or it wasn't taken seriously. Because the people above me, the people who worked longer than me, said it didn't work. Well, it didn't work for them. Why don't let me try? Oh, but my position is too low. I can't talk to the head of the client's GSM directly. I can only talk to the person below me at the same level. So you see how there's a structural issue, an organizational issue that I really cannot flex myself. I cannot be useful. I cannot really solve problems and come in like that. And it just wasn't for me. But I did get a lot out of it. And that's the most important thing, I think, of this video I want to make is like, you know what? Things could be bad. Like whatever, if you're at a job and you think it's bad, can you change the questions you are asking? Can you say, instead of saying, why does this job suck so much? Why do these people suck? Why don't you ask, what can I get out of it? How can I make this a win? How can I plan my next move or quietly doing my next move while I just do the minimum? I don't want to say bare minimum. Why don't you just do just enough here so that you can work on your stuff? Because I believe corporate job, it's part of life. I'm actually glad I had the experience of working at a corporate job. And I can tell you that I've done quite a lot in my life. I was in sales for 5 years, working full-time as a student in university. I was a teacher for 10 years. I was in the military as a drill instructor for a year. And now I've done corporate. I was a project manager for a whole year. I can say that, hey, yeah, it kind of sucked, but knowing what I know now, would I do it again? Absolutely fucking yes. Would I do it differently? No. It was more of a mindset thing of what you focus on. Like, what can I learn from this experience? And I felt like I've learned so much in 6 months that I really don't need it anymore. Now, if you're working in corporate and you're doing sales, that's a complete different feel, because sales, you're just gonna keep going up by making more sales, you're gonna be better. But any other job that is not sales or like say management or top leadership, those, you're really just in that box where you're there to fill position, and it's better you don't say too much. Like most of the time, the boss doesn't want your opinion. He wants you to be a yes man. He doesn't want you to say, oh, it can't be done. Just lie. If he's telling you to do some crazy shit, just say, yes, yeah, absolutely. Be a yes man and do your best to accomplish it. And if there's any like issues or challenges that come up, you gotta frame it differently, okay? Now, he hired you not for you to tell him no. He hired you, or you're in this team, to let the machine operate smoothly or in the direction that the boss wants. So you're gonna do everything you can to at least say, yes, it can be done. I'll do my best. And if you come up short, well, tell him the reasoning. At least you did not say no in the beginning, right? Because it's always about the attitude, right? So your attitude also determines how you are viewed within the company. So to really finish off the video, guys, I hope this video helps you a little bit. I just wanted to share my experience about how I resign gracefully, what I've learned, and there's actually plenty more to share, which I'll share in the upcoming videos, and really what to do about it, what to think about, and how to really go in to this conversation, because it's not an easy conversation. But I can tell you, it ain't the end of the world. It's actually very, very liberating. And then maybe in the next video, I'll tell you what happens when reality sets in. I enjoyed my freedom for a couple days, and then the next time I'm like, oh shit, reality sets in. I actually have to work now. So, as always, gentlemen, please take care of yourself and others.